Primordial Desolation. I am the Dragon Ancestor. I choose for the dragon race to retreat from the very beginning. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 429. He knew very well that Taoist Yang Mi sent the 12 witch ancestors into the wilderness first, and his purpose was just to let them test the waters for him with their lives. After all, he didn't know if there was anyone with a higher cultivation level than him in this ancient world, so he had to be careful. Shen Long summoned Kong Zhuan and ordered him to immediately lead the 72 Chaos Demon Gods to kill all the invaders if they dared to offend Wu Lianzihai. The teacher can rest assured that the disciple will get things done. Kong Zhuan agreed. Since he got the Tai Kai Chaos instrument, his strength has greatly increased, and he has long wanted to find an opportunity to show off his skills. If the ancestral witch goes to war with the prehistoric saint, will the disciples help? As long as it does not endanger the prehistoric heaven, you can just watch the fire from the other side. I also want to take this opportunity to give a good blow to the prehistoric saint. In addition, there is one more thing. You can tell the six-eared macaque to do it. After Shen Long gave some instructions, Kong Zhuan looked confused. Would this be too difficult for Sun Wukong? The Buddhist scripture-seeking team is not monolithic. Sun Wukong and Tang Xuanzang have different ideas. Sooner or later, a rift will develop between the master and the disciple. The purpose of letting the six-eared macaque come forward was to test the two of them, master and disciple, and to make up for the relationship between master and disciple, so as to avoid a break in the future. Shen Long said meaningfully. The teacher really thought it through, and the disciple immediately started making arrangements. Kong Zhuan immediately responded and left. Shen Long calculated that it would take at least several years of preparation for the ancestral witch to invade the ancient world. During this period, the Buddhists had no time to take care of the scripture-collecting team. He could take the opportunity to avoid Buddhist eyes and ears and continue to influence the scripture-collecting team. At the same moment, the enemy invasion was imminent, and all the saints in the prehistoric era had focused all their energy on measuring calamity. In this way, the four Buddhist masters and disciples rarely encountered difficulties from Buddhist and Taoist saints, and they encountered fewer disasters on their way westward. When the four masters and apprentices walked along peacefully for half a year, they met the six-eared macaques who had been waiting for them halfway. I don't know why the ancestor arranged it like this. The six-eared macaque looked at the four masters and disciples walking through the wilderness and said to himself. The six-eared macaque turned into the appearance of Sun Wukong and disappeared quietly. At this time, Sun Wukong and Tang Seng were quarreling while walking. Sun Wukong could not understand that Tang Xuanzang would only give earnest persuasion to the monsters he met along the way. It would be better to beat the monsters with a round stick until they surrendered. However, Xuanzang of the Tang dynasty accused Sun Wukong of only fighting and killing, and had no Zen heart to educate living beings. How could he save all living beings? Lao Sun's method of saving sentient beings is to kill all the demons and monsters that bully sentient beings, so that sentient beings can survive without being disturbed by evil spirits. This is much more effective than empty talk about fart sutras, Sun Wukong said with great disdain. Tang Xuanzang simply shook his head when he heard this. The suffering of all living beings is not only caused by evil spirits. If we can teach all living beings to understand clearly and practice without being controlled by gods, then that is the supreme way. It's all nonsense. How can any sentient being understand your great principles? Just let the gods and Buddhas in the sky disappear into smoke, and all sentient beings will naturally not be controlled. The argument between the two became more and more intense, and they even felt that the other party was simply unreasonable. At the end of the argument, Sun Wukong simply turned somersault and flew directly to the sky. This monkey head is really difficult to teach. Tang Xuanzang couldn't help but shook his head and sighed. Chapter 430. Master, I, Lao, and junior brother Sha have always listened to your words. When you meet the Buddha in the West, you must speak kindly to us too. Zhu Beiji took advantage of the situation and took advantage of every opportunity. Beiji, You are still so utilitarian now. How will you practice in the future? Although your senior brother's actions are not appropriate, he still has the intention to save all sentient beings. Tang Xuanzang's nagging was transferred to Zhu Beiji again, which made Zhu Beiji very distressed. At this time, Sun Wukong, who had just left recently, came back from the clouds and mist, which surprised Tang Xuanzang even more. Wukong, why did you come back so soon after this quarrel? Did you think you had figured it out? That's right, Lao Sun has figured it out a long time ago. Sun Wukong jumped down from the somersault cloud, holding the golden cudgel upside down in his hand, with a ferocious smile on his face. What are you? Tang Xuanzang suddenly realized that something was wrong. He actually detected a trace of murderous intention from Sun Wukong. The old monk talks nonsense and only talks about scriptures to fool ghosts. Today, Old Sun will send you to the underworld to save the souls of the dead. Sun Wukong laughed ferociously, and he actually picked up the golden cudgel and smashed it down on Tang Xuanzang's head. Buddha dust. In desperation, Tang Xuanzang had no time to dodge. Fortunately, he recovered Jin Chanzi's cultivation and could still use Buddha dust to protect himself. Boom! The golden cudgel was so powerful that it directly scattered the Buddha's dust with one blow. The remaining power sent Tang Xuanzang flying backwards easily and knocked him unconscious. Big brother, what are you? Zhu Beiji exclaimed, and was about to step forward to protect Tang Xuanzang, but was frightened by Sun Wukong's cold gaze. Stupid pig, if you want to die, Sun will not mind killing one more. As soon as Sun Wukong said this, the frightened Zhu Beiji quickly backed away. As for Lao Sha, who did not seek merit but wanted no fault, he had already obediently stepped aside, not to mention taking action or even saying a word. Anyway, it was Sun Wukong this time. If you want to kill Tang Xuanzang, he is not a demon, so you can't blame us for not protecting him well. These two people thought in their hearts. They saw Sun Wukong lifting the golden cudgel and stepping forward. When the dignitary hit Tang Xuanzang on the head, the Buddha's light suddenly shone on Tang Xuanzang's body, forming a protective aura to protect Tang Xuanzang in it. This protective aura is Jin Chanzi's sole self-protection method. Although the protective aura was shattered when the stick fell, Sun Wukong was also forced to retreat. Lao Sun will come see you some other time. Seeing that Sun Wukong failed to succeed, he immediately whipped up a gust of wind and took away all the treasures such as the customs clearance documents, scriptures, brocade cassocks, ring staffs and other treasures from the Buddhist scripture collection team, and left Tenyun. Oh my god. Is this monkey crazy? Zhu Beiji was dumbfounded. He could hardly imagine that Sun Wukong, who had always protected Tang Xuanzang, would do such a thing and almost kill Tang Xuanzang. I'm afraid that Master's preaching has angered senior brother. I wonder if we can continue to go west to correct the consequences after Master's death. Sha Monk's face was filled with worry. What he was thinking about at this time was whether there was still hope for his own enlightenment. Lao Sha, what nonsense are you talking about? The Master is not dead yet. Hurry up and take a look. Zhu Beiji hurried over to check on the unconscious Tang Xuanzang, but he never expected that Sun Wukong, who had just left, would come back again. Oh my god. This monkey won't stop until he kills the monk today. Zhu Beiji was frightened and quickly stepped aside for fear that Sun Wukong would anger him. Idiots, what are you doing? The returning Sun Wukong glanced at Zhu Beiji, but when he saw the dizzy Tang Xuanzang on the ground, he was suddenly shocked. Chapter 431. Senior brother, you lost your memory too quickly. Just now, you were planning to beat the Master to death. Why are you now worried about the Master in the blink of an eye? You couldn't possibly be planning to put the blame on me and Lao Sha, right? Zhu Beiji is complaining incessantly. Nonsense. What the hell is going on? Please tell me in detail. Sun Wukong cursed. Zhu Beiji didn't dare to hide anything and told Sun Wukong exactly what happened just now. There must be an evil spirit pretending to be Lao Sun, you stupid pig. If the teacher wanted to beat the monk to death, would he survive today? Sun Wukong cursed in the air, and then flew into the sky to settle the score with the demon. Soon, Tang Xuanzang also woke up from his coma, with a heavy look on his face. He originally thought that although Sun Wukong was naughty, At least he had the heart to save all sentient beings. Now he is so angry that he even hurt himself. Go get your luggage back and continue westward. Even without your senior brother, this poor monk can still walk westward, Tang Xuanzang ordered, but neither Zhu Beiji nor Sha Seng dared to leave. For no other reason than Sun Wukong dared to injure Tang Seng, let alone the two of them. Tang Xuanzang shook his head and sighed. At this time, he really knew that these two just wanted to get the other things are not important at all. Fortunately, Xuanzang of Tang Dynasty had the cultivation level of Jin Chanzi and personally drove the White Dragon horse to Huago Mountain. At the same time, Sun Wukong searched along the way but found nothing, and finally found Huago Mountain directly, only to find that the monkey tribe on the mountain was actually supporting another Sun Wukong. This Sun Wukong was the one who injured Tang Xuanzang. He was transformed into a six-eared macaque and deliberately attacked Tang Xuanzang. When Sun Wukong angrily went to Huago Mountain to see through the true identity of the six-eared macaque, he found that the latter's aura was exactly the same as his, and his piercing eyes could not see the difference. They are the same four monkeys, and their auras are almost the same, so the six-eared macaques can disguise themselves perfectly. Of course, Tang Xuanzang was not killed because the six-eared macaque showed mercy, seeing someone pretending to be someone or even setting the blame on himself. Sun Wukong naturally couldn't tolerate it. In a rage, he went directly to the Huago Mountain to start a war with the six-eared macaque. Although the six-eared macaque wanted to be merciful and make a draw with Sun Wukong, after the battle, the six-eared macaque found that with Sun Wukong's full strength, he could not get any benefits at all. Sun Wukong's cultivation has advanced faster than the other three monkeys who were born first. Good. This Sun Wukong's cultivation qualifications are definitely better than the three of us. After all, they are connected by fate. The stronger Sun Wukong is, the better for the four monkeys in the world. The protracted battle between the two, and even the unscrupulous and crazy battle outside the Huago Mountain, the impact has even made the continuous mountains and ravines were razed to the ground. The demon clan near Huago Mountain was so frightened that no one dared to step forward to dissuade them, for fear that they would also be involved. Just when the two were fighting in the dark, they rushed to Huago Mountain. Tang Xuanzang happened to see the scene of two Sun Wukong fighting, and he was shocked to realize that the one who intended to kill him was another fake Sun Wukong. Master, please be careful. This bastard disguised himself as Old Sun and injured you. Today, Old Sun will deal with him to clear his name. It's obviously you beast, pretending to be Lao Sun, but you're still slandering people here. Let's see how Lao Sun will deal with you today. Chapter 432. The fight between the two became more and more fierce, and they even fought to the death. The two of you are similar in strength. If you continue to fight, it is impossible to determine the winner. Tang Xuanzang could see that the two Sun Wukongs were similar in cultivation, so he stepped forward to stop them and asked them to stop. The fighting between the two finally subsided. But even so, Tang Xuanzang could not tell which one of the two was real and who was fake. When the stalemate continued, the monkey deliberately proposed to go to the underworld and let the 10th palace of hell distinguish them. Sun Wukong was naturally not afraid. But when they came to the underworld, the 10th palace of hell could not tell the difference between the two, no matter whether they were investigating life and death or reincarnation. They were helpless. Now, all the kings of hell can only ask the truth listener who can hear through the hearts of all things to make a distinction. Under the quasi-sage, the hearts of all things cannot escape the truth listener's perception. After the truth listener probes, he already has the answer in his heart. But no matter how Sun Wukong interrogates, but he never mentioned it. Sun Wukong was furious on the spot. Tell Lao Sun quickly, otherwise, I will cause trouble in the underworld again today and destroy the palace of hell. Sun Dashing, don't go too far, you are not the one who can cause trouble in the underworld today. King Wang's expression suddenly changed and he said sternly, Fart, Lao Sun made trouble 500 years ago, why can't he do it now? Sun Wukong raised the stick and was about to hit the Yama Palace, but suddenly he noticed a pressure that shocked the soul from the depths of the underworld, causing Sun Wukong to stop abruptly. There is a saint sitting in the underworld, and he is a saint I have never seen before. Sun Wukong was horrified. Although he was arrogant, he had personally seen the power of the saints and knew that he would never be able to match him. Why are there saints everywhere? Lao Sun will let you go today and go to heaven to distinguish the true from the false. Despite this, Sun Wukong still tried to save his face and left the underworld, followed closely by the six-eared macaque and Tang Zuozhang. Way to go, great sage. This monkey is really becoming more and more unruly every day. If it weren't for the great emperor, the underworld would be disrupted by him again this time. The 10 kings of hell were talking a lot, but the next moment, their expressions suddenly changed, and they all knelt down and worshipped the samsara disc. Meet the emperor. The reincarnation disc slowly opened, and Kong Zhuan appeared. If it weren't for this monkey being so difficult to deal with, I wouldn't want to force him back. Kong Zhuan frowned slightly, but this time the six-eared macaque did a good job. Ting Ting, step back. Don't tell anyone what you know today. Yes. Di Ting naturally understood what Kong Zhuan was referring to. After bowing several times, he set off to retreat. The six-eared macaque is Shen Long's disciple. If the outside world knew that he was disguised as Sun Wukong, anyone could guess that Shen Long is interfering with the calamity. This is naturally not what Shen Long wants to see. The issue of the real and fake Sun Wukong soon became a hot topic, and almost everyone knew about it from Tanting, Xuanmen, and Ling Shan. Jinian wondered. The plan of the fake Sun Wukong did not appear in his arrangement at all. How did this disaster occur? Jian originally planned to use his holy eyes to see through the fake Sun Wukong, but what shocked him was that even he himself could not see through which one was the fake Sun Wukong. Under his holy eyes, there is no difference between the two Sun Wukongs. This is of course Shen Long's magical power. He personally concealed the aura of the six-eared macaque, and even a saint like him who was in the 12th heaven could not detect it at all. Chapter 433. Jian could not have known that Shen Long was interfering, and thought that the six-eared macaque had a great background. The more Jian thought about it, the more frightened he became, and he even went to heaven in person to find Emperor Hashan for discussion. Is there such a thing? Emperor Hashan also felt incredible. He also tried to see through the six-eared macaque like Jian, but he found nothing. Could this be the fake Sun Wukong disguised as the invader? Otherwise, how could even the saint be able to hide it? The words of Emperor Hashan really made Jian carefully consider the possibility. If this is really the case, with Wu Tian's lessons learned, the two have to consider the possibility. And at this moment, an immortal came to heaven to investigate, informing them that Sun Wukong is about to arrive in heaven. Emperor, the real and fake Sun Wukong fought and killed them all the way. I hope the emperor can distinguish the true from the false for them. Tabai Jingxing hurriedly reported he actually came. Emperor Hashan was suddenly uneasy. If the fake Sun Wukong was indeed an invader in disguise, how could he know what the consequences would be if he met him in person? Avoid, disappear. If the monkey must meet in person, just say that the emperor has gone elsewhere and is not in heaven. Emperor Hashan refused directly. Tabai Jingxing was very puzzled. Emperor, why is this? Can't you tell which one is the fake Sun Wukong? Nonsense. Why can't I do this little thing? It's just that the monkey has a rampant and naughty temperament. If he gets mad and starts fighting on the spot, the Nanshaman that was finally re-erected will collapse again. Just drive him away and the emperor will disappear. After Tabai Jingxing left, Jian's expression became solemn. It is impossible for Sun Wukong to give up and get no results in heaven. He will definitely go to Lingshan for help. I should also return to Lingshan as soon as possible. Fellow Taoist Hashan, farewell. After saying this, Jian left immediately and returned to Lingshan. In today's ancient world, even saints can't live in peace. The great Emperor Hashan couldn't help but sigh. At the foot of Lingshan Mountain, the real and fake Sun Wukong could not see Emperor Hashan in heaven, so he came here to seek guidance and help. He unexpectedly saw that Lingshan was closed. Under the restriction and blessing of the saint, they could not enter Lingshan at all. What's wrong with these saints? They all close their doors tightly, so they are so afraid of me. Sun Wukong was very upset. Counterfeit. Why not have a fight with Lao Sun, Whoever gets beaten to death must be a fake. Lao Sun also has this intention. The two were like dry gunpowder, igniting almost as soon as they were ignited, and they actually fought directly outside Lingshan. The three Buddhas of Lingshan were actually watching them fighting in Lian Temple, as if nothing had happened. Even if you two fight for another 500 years, you still can't tell the winner, so why bother? Tang Xuanzang sighed. Can't you find anyone else to help you except Buddha and the Emperor of Heaven? Ancestral Dragon Immortal, the Ancestral Dragon Master helped me, grandson, back then. He will definitely be able to tell the difference. Being reminded by Tang Xuanzang, Sun Wukong suddenly remembered that there was a powerful person in the ancient world who was almost above the heads of all saints. The six-eared macaque did not show any weakness at all. That's what I meant. Let's go to Wu Liangsi now. The two soon arrived at the Boundless Sea, and when they were about to enter it, they were blocked by the chaos demon gods surrounding the Boundless Sea, preventing them from even taking a step forward. Chapter 434. Be good. 7 Tai Tu Saints. The Zhulong Shangxian's handiwork is so great. Sun Wukong was stunned by the momentum of those chaos demon gods, and their number made him even more incredible. Just when Sun Wukong was struggling with how to enter the Boundless Sea, the 7 Tai Tu chaos demon gods who were guarding suddenly pushed away, and at the same time, the vast Boundless Sea was forcibly separated from the middle by a passage leading to the bottom of the sea. Sun Wukong, the master knows you are coming. Come in. Thank you, thank you. Sun Wukong was overjoyed, and the group hurriedly walked into Wu Liangsi. Before they arrived at the Longding Hall, Shen Long had already arrived. Sun Wukong, come and be safe. Shen Long smiled lightly and looked at Sun Wukong in front of him. His true form was absorbing the laws of heaven in the Longding Hall, but it was just a clone, and the aura and pressure it inadvertently revealed still made Sun Wukong and Tang Xuanzang breathless. Meet the Ancestral Dragon Immortal. Tang Xuanzang was very respectful. He didn't know that Shen Long had personally enlightened him, so he said very respectfully, Immortal, I, the old grandson, will no longer worship you. I came to see you today because I really have something important to ask for. Sun Wukong approached Shen Long with a playful smile. This beast is pretending to be my grandson. Please take action and deal with him. Shen Long smiled lightly and nodded. Okay. Sun Wukong, huh? Can you tell who is real and who is fake? Sun Wukong was very surprised. Not only does I know who is real and who is fake, but I also know who is pretending to be you. Six-eared macaque, it's time to show up. Disciples understand. Patriarch. At Shen Long's signal, the six-eared macaque disguised as Sun Wukong laughed, then took off his disguise and revealed himself. You beast. It caused Lao Sun to suffer so much trouble. Sun Wukong was furious and raised his golden cudgel to hit him on the head. Save it. Sun Wukong, your cultivation level is indeed advancing faster than the other three monkeys, but your level is not yet my opponent. The six-eared macaque still had enough power to block Sun Wukong's attack with his ironclad Suixin soldiers. Ancestral Dragon Immortal, get rid of you and give Lao Sun a hand to clean up this. Sun Wukong suddenly realized something. The six-eared macaque seemed to call Shen Long the patriarch just now. Shen Long smiled and said, Sun Wukong, there are many things you don't know in this ancient world, not least of which is this. Six-eared macaque, tell him everything. Yes. The six-eared macaque followed the order, and then his appearance changed one after another, turning into the red-faced macaque when he was in Huaga Mountain, and the spirit monkey that had been with him for nearly 500 years under Huaga Mountain. Sun Wukong became more and more confused. What's going on? Are these also the plans behind the scenes by the Ancestral Dragon Master? Tang Xuanzang looked at Shen Long and asked. Sun Wukong has a long history, and it starts from before Pang died. Shen Long did not answer Tang Xuanzang, and the six-eared macaque told Tang Xuanzang and Sun Wukong all the ins and outs of the Chaos Demon Ape and the 4 Chaos Monkeys. At first, Sun Wukong was still confused, but the more he heard the end, the more shocked he became. My own life experience is so bizarre and twists and turns. Buddhism chose you to take the path of Buddhist scriptures because it values your identity as a spiritually enlightened stone monkey. When the six-eared macaque finished speaking, Shen Long added. However, one thing Shen Long did not mention was that Sun Wukong is the only one among the 4 monkeys in the world who has the qualifications to become a saint. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 435. Sun Wukong's temperament is very easy to be arrogant, and it is not a good thing for him to know that he has such potential. The reason why I asked the 6-eared macaque to pretend to be you is to let you understand everything behind this and everything that the prehistoric saint did. Shen Long said lightly. No wonder those saints all want to plot against Lao Sun. Sun Wukong gritted his teeth. If Shen Long hadn't given him the golden cudgel and the true dragon bloodline to improve his cultivation, and he had been secretly guiding him, I'm afraid he would have unknowingly become a lackey of Buddhism. Sun Wukong, I intend to bring you together in the 4 seasons of the world to recreate the power of the Chaos Demon Ape. Now that your cultivation levels have improved qualitatively, you may not even be able to compare with the Chaos Demon Ape back then. Shen Long is not kidding. As the strongest of the 3,000 Chaos Demon gods, the Chaos Demon Ape is the only one who still has a spiritual body left in the wilderness after being killed by Panu. Today's 4 monkeys are already powerful enough. They don't need gather spiritual bodies to resurrect the Chaos Demon Ape, and you can run rampant in the wilderness just by joining forces. So, if Lao Sun and the 3 monkeys from this world join forces, even the saint is no match for him? Sun Wukong's eyes lit up. Then can I teach the 3 Buddhas of Lingshan a lesson and suppress them at the foot of the mountain for 500 years? Shen Long said disdainfully. If you really reach that state, the 3 Buddhas in Lingshan are not worth mentioning at all. If this is the case, of course Lao Sun would be willing. Hey, Sun Wukong rubbed his palms together excitedly. Since the birth of Pashi, he has always been controlled and oppressed by the ancient saints. He is extremely thirsty for power and has a strong desire to win. If he had the chance to take revenge on those saints, he would be happy to do so. But it's still very early. You must finish walking westward before I can let the 4 monkeys gather together. Still going westbound? The 3 Buddhas of Lingshan manipulated me like this, but they still... Ugh. Shen Long's words were like pouring a ladle of water on the fire, immediately extinguishing the enthusiasm that Sun Wukong had finally ignited. Wukong, the ancestral dragon master is not asking you to go westward to torture you. This is a practice that you must complete, and it is also a calamity that needs to be completed in the prehistoric times. Beiji and Wujing don't have to finish the journey, but you and your teacher must complete this westward journey, no matter what the result is. Tang Xuanzang saw clearly and advised Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, your cultivation is indeed far superior to that of Tang Xuanzang, but your realm is still inferior. Shen Long said with a smile. Tang Xuanzang indeed said the most important point. Lao Sun listens to you, ancestral dragon immortal. You have the final say. Sun Wukong simply leaves everything to Shen Long and doesn't have to worry about these things. If you are willing to regain the power of the Chaos Demonic Ape in the past, you must become a disciple of this emperor, and I will give you this opportunity. The master is here. The disciple has seen it. Shen Long's help will not be in vain. So Sun Wukong was very happy and directly became a disciple of Shen Long on the spot. Regardless of Shen Long's status of almost dominating the ancient world, just because Shen Long has given him a lot of help since his birth, this he also recognized the teacher willingly. Okay, from now on you are my disciple, but before the end of your journey to the west, your identity must not be known to the outside world. Shen Long warned in a deep voice. Tang Xuanzang looked on with envy. It was indeed a great opportunity for Sun Wukong to have a powerful person like Shen Long as his teacher. Chapter 436. It's a pity that I was born in Buddhism. Otherwise I could have worshipped the ancestor Long Shangxian as my teacher, but, after Tang Xuanzang made some calculations in his mind, he actually asked Shen Long, ancestral dragon immortal, can you allow me to join the dragon clan's influence? You? Shen Long was quite surprised. You have almost chosen to join Buddhism in your 10 reincarnations. Why do you want to leave now? Tang Xuanzang said resolutely. When I was a golden cicada in Lingshan, I just wanted to find a way to save all sentient beings. The poor monk who reincarnated in the previous 9 generations thought that the guidance of the Buddha could save all things, but now he realizes that only by using supreme magic power to wipe out those who dominate all living beings can all living beings be saved. As long as we can save all sentient beings, whether they are Buddhists or dragons, everything is worth it. At this moment, Tang Xuanzang's Zen heart actually had a hint of fighting spirit, which was very different from the Xuanzang of the past. It was not that Tang Xuanzang's mentality changed, but that he truly realized that the stronger can bully all things and at the same time save all living beings. Monk, you finally understand that preaching scriptures everywhere is of no use. Great principles can only come out under a stick. Sun Wukong couldn't help but laugh. So enlightened. Shen Long was extremely appreciative. The Emperor can allow you to join the Dragon Clan and give you the opportunity. As for how you will grasp it in the future, that is your own business. Shen Long gave a ray of true dragon blood to Tang Xuanzang and helped him integrate with the bloodline. Then Tang Xuanzang's cultivation level suddenly skyrocketed. The true dragon blood that Shen Long gave to Tang Xuanzang was not as rich as that of Sun Wukong. First, it was because of Sun Wukong. They valued Sun Wukong more. Secondly, it was because Sun Wukong was the incarnation of a stone monkey and had a stronger physique, so he could refine the purest true dragon's blood. However, Tang Xuanzang was just a mortal body who had practiced spiritual practice, giving him extremely high accuracy. The true dragon bloodline can easily cause it to explode. Thank you, Master Zhulong. Tang Xuanzang thanked him immediately and was filled with excitement, not only because his cultivation level had improved qualitatively. Shen Long also made him see the possibility of saving all sentient beings by fighting. Remember, this matter must not be leaked, especially not let the Buddhists know about it. In the middle of what Shen Long said, his expression suddenly changed. He realized that his cultivation had reached a critical moment. Leave. After Shen Long left these words, his clone merged with the main body. Thank you, God. Six-eared macaque. When you and I have the chance to fight again in the future, Lao Sun will definitely be able to defeat you this time. Sun Wukong laughed loudly, then said goodbye to the six-eared macaque and left. When Sun Wukong and Tang Xuanzang returned to the Buddhist scriptures team, Zhu Beiji jumped aside in shock. Master, is this true or false? Beiji, don't be lazy. He hit the road west, and set off immediately. Tang Xuanzang didn't pay much attention to Zhu Beiji and directly signaled to set off. Idiot, go. Tang Xuanzang and Sun Wukong walked in tandem, as if the incident between the real and fake Sun Wukong had never happened before. Damn it, the old pig can't figure it out. Zhu Beiji was puzzled, but Lao Sha still carried his luggage and moved forward without saying a word as before. After this, although the scripture-seeking team still existed, it was completely separated. Tang Xuanzang and Sun Wukong were not interested in Buddhism at all, and Lao Zhu and Shaseng did not care about anything except their attainment status. Gen definitely doesn't know that today's Buddhist scripture-seeking team is completely different from when it was first created. Chapter 437. The biggest beneficiary of the scripture-seeking team was no longer Buddhist. At the same moment, saints from all walks of life suddenly realized that the power of the laws of heaven was rapidly disappearing. Zhulong is about to break through. The saints are frightened and curious. If Shen Long becomes a half-step master, how will the way of heaven change? However, at the same moment, in the chaos outside the prehistoric world, the ancestral witches and elders of the Phoenix clan from the parallel world have gathered. Outside the space passage, their cultivation realms are also powerful that saints from all walks of life can hardly look behind them. Everyone, Taoist Yang Mi has ordered that all creatures in the realm of saints be exterminated, but those lower creatures should be retained to provide for the heavenly way. Do not let the level of the heavenly way in this world decrease, otherwise the gain will not be worth the loss. Zhurong said to everyone, just kill all those who stand in the way, why bother worrying about the many? Jiushin Kun of the Phoenix clan muttered to himself, Kun, Your clan Sanqing acted poorly before this and failed to fulfill Daozu's instructions, which led to Fengzu being punished at the Sanqing wheel. You don't want to add to his punishment, right? If you don't want to, just listen to whatever I say, and never act recklessly. Dragon Ancestor has warned that the Fang clan must obey the orders of the Wu clan in everything. Zhurong looked at Shen Long coldly and reminded him. Snort. Shen Long snorted coldly, but did not refute. Do it. With the order, the intruders no longer hesitated and rushed towards the space passage one after another. Stop. Without the order of Zhu Long, no one is allowed to trespass into the space passage. At this moment, a chaos demon god appeared in the space channel and shouted loudly to stop him. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was shocked to find that the visitors turned out to be many saints. Come to death. The energy from many saints poured out and bombarded the body of the chaos demon god, causing him to be torn into pieces before he could escape, and his body and soul were destroyed. Today's chaos demon god's cultivation level has gradually declined, and he only has the cultivation level of the 7th heavenly saint. There is no way to stop these strong men from other worlds not worth mentioning. If the prehistoric world was full of such things, I'm afraid they wouldn't even be worth our while. Gong sneered. Then, they rushed into the space channel and appeared on the sky above the boundless sea a moment later. So many saints entered the ancient world, and their momentum and energy burst suddenly caused the ancient heaven to go crazy and change suddenly. Those who invade the boundless seas will die. Multiple whirlpools rolled up in the boundless sea, and the chaos demon gods also appeared one by one, intending to resist. But when these chaos demon gods realized that most of the intruders were 12th layer saints, they suddenly became frightened and wanted to escape. Zhurong, I was very puzzled. How come these primitive ants have such heavy karma? It is said that the creatures in the primitive world will not be burdened by karma. They are not primitive creatures. After Gong inspected it, he said with some surprise, these saints are all chaos demon gods. They are imprisoned in the boundless seas, and their cultivation has regressed to this point. There are naturally 3,000 chaos demon gods in the parallel world, and they were waiting for an opportunity to invade the primitive world after Pangu's death. However, when Taoist Yang Mai broke through the great Dao realm in his cultivation, he had killed all the chaos demon gods in order to avoid future troubles, and not a single one was left alive. Leave so. They were imprisoned in the wilderness as watchdogs. Zhurong was amazed. This handiwork is absolutely amazing. Chapter 438. No matter what, just kill them too. Then, the 6 ancestral witches took action at the same time to kill these fleeing chaos demon gods. With their 12th level saints cultivation, it was easy to deal with more than a dozen chaos demon gods who were only at the 7th level heaven. After a short moment, they were all slaughtered. The battle between the saints was extraordinary. After the battle, the waves and the 4 seas surged and the bottom of the sea shook. Not good. Kong Zhuan, who was guarding the boundless seas, was shocked. He knew that this must be the attack of saints from the parallel world. Naturally, Kong Zhuan would not let them do whatever they wanted and would directly kill them on the sea surface. You can't be so arrogant in the world. If you don't want to die here, just get out of here. Kong Zhuan shouted to stop him, but then he realized how luxurious the lineup that invaded the ancient world was. Zhu Wuzerong, Gong, Zhu Jiuyan, Zhuanming, as well as Feng Clan Jiushen Kun, Zhuanshen Min, Huo Yi King Luan, 9 12th level saints. Among the 12 ancestral witches, these few are slightly weaker. Even they have the cultivation level of the 12th level realm. It is hard to say whether there will be those in the heavenly realm among them. Existence. The auras emitted by these 9 saints almost spread to the entire prehistoric world, which is so heart-stopping. Almost all living beings are so frightened that they almost lose their souls. They run away in panic, but they still cannot get rid of this nightmare-like pressure. Tarsal bones like maggots. Phoenix clan. When Jiushen Kun saw Kong Zhuan, he was immediately interested. I heard that the Phoenix clan in this world is almost extinct, but I didn't expect that there is still a saint. I will deal with him personally. You are not allowed to interfere. If he dies, he will have to die in my hands. Although they are both members of the Phoenix clan, Jiushin Kun only has a strong murderous intention towards his fellow clansmen in this other world. You are not enough. Kong Zhuan's powerful aura suddenly burst out, and his 12th level saint cultivation was fully revealed. His cultivation has already broken through the 12th level, and now he has the most precious chaos yin-yang instrument. What should he be afraid of? Brother, it would be safer for me to help you. Xuanchen Min noticed that the cultivation levels of the two were almost the same. He felt worried and suggested to Jiushin Kun, I can deal with him on my own. I don't need your help. Jiushin Kun was full of fighting spirit and refused directly. Even if you want to find help, I'm afraid you can't. Kong Zhuan laughed loudly, and the chaos yin-yang instrument in his hand flew through the air, creating a realm of chaos isolated from the prehistoric world out of thin air, and included him and Jiushin Kun in it. Oops, Huoi King Luan and Xuanchen Min were about to take action, but Kong Zhuan and Jiushin Kun had already disappeared without leaving any breath. When Jiushin Kun was just trapped, he was initially panicked, but he could not break through the space no matter what he tried. Behind the barrier, he suddenly calmed down. As long as I kill you and take away the magic weapon, I can't be trapped here. Jiushin Kun looked at the chaos yin-yang instrument in Kong Zhuan's hand, with a trace of greed in his eyes. He could detect that it was definitely a treasure, at least at the level of a chaos spiritual treasure. It depends on whether you are lucky enough to survive. Kong Zhuan sneered. He also had extremely murderous intentions towards Jiushin Kun. The next moment, the two were fighting. In this realm of emptiness and chaos, the two were fighting with all their strength. Don't worry, Jiushin Kun has the means given by Dragon Ancestor. Chapter 439. Zhurong was not at all as panicked as the two Phoenix clansmen. What's more, we also have strong enemies here. As soon as he finished speaking, 8 pale golden lights suddenly flashed across the sky, quickly approaching the boundless sea. The brilliant light dissipated at the same time, and the 8 saints from the ancient times gathered here. But their cultivation was much weaker than the 6 intruders. Only Lazy and Jiyin have reached the 12th level of sainthood. Really bad. I frowned. In the past, when faced with a chaos demon god invading the ancient world, at least Shen Long was there to help, but now it is still unclear how Shen Long will break through the realm, and they can only rely on themselves. If fellow Taoist Zhu Long fails to break through, wouldn't we? Feeling uneasy. Compared with them, the ancestral wizards were relieved, and the strength of Han Wang was only this. Zhurong, can this be called a strong enemy? The cultivation level is nothing more than this, Huoi Qingluan said sarcastically. Are you all the saints in the ancient world? Zhurong frowned and asked fellow Taoist Zhurong, I recognize you. Your world and ours have the same thread, and each has its own rules of operation. Why do you want to invade my world and occupy the way of heaven? Fellow Taoist, can you be so noble and leave me like this? I would be very grateful. Jiyin clasped his hands together and begged Zhurong, grateful? Ha ha ha. What is the use of your gratitude? Zhurong was very scornful. The law of the jungle is the foundation of all the worlds. If you have the ability to break into our world and do whatever you want, I will have no complaints. What's more, you have cultivated to the level of a saint. Haven't you done this before? Merge the weak to strengthen yourself. If you have done this, even if you are killed today, you should have no complaints. Zhurong's words left all the saints speechless. Wushan, if you are willing to die now, I can destroy your body and soul in a quick and easy way. If you let me put in a lot of effort, I will definitely beat your soul and make you endure at least 10,000 years of soul refining. The pain. Zhurong looked at Wushan, who had taken advantage of the opportunity to survive, and threatened him with a cold voice. Wushan looked gloomy and gritted his teeth and said, nonsense. If you are really capable, come and take my life. A battle today is inevitable. The 8 saints knew that their last chance of luck no longer existed. Everyone, there is only one plan, and you should know it. Tongshan said in a deep voice, and all the saints responded one after another. They knew what Tongshan was referring to. If they fought one-on-one, they would be completely defeated without any surprise, especially Tathagata and Randang, who were only in the 7th heaven realm. There is no way to deal with the enemy. The 8 saints arranged a formation together, which is the only way out. Thunder from the sky. Ji Yun sacrificed the 4 swords of Zhujian that were condensed with spiritual power. The 4 swords split instantly and turned into tens of thousands of flying swords, forming the veins of a large formation. Boom! Above the sky, a 5-element thunder struck down on the formation, injecting a large amount of power of law. The other 7 saints also controlled the 7 formation eyes of the formation at the same time, making the formation take shape. Break the formation and don't let them succeed. Zhurong immediately used Zhurong's divine spear to create layers of waves of fireworks to bombard the formation, but he did not expect that the formation would bounce back all the power he blasted out. Zhurong was able to resolve all these layers of power, but he realized that others were like him, being counterattacked by the large formation's rebound attack. Chapter 440. This formation is anything but ordinary. Zhu Jiuyan, who was almost injured by the rebounded attack, exclaimed. In the parallel world, Xuanmen no longer exists, so naturally there are no mysterious formations to be discovered and used. Even the arrangement of formations has been eliminated in their world. It has become an extremely inferior means of combat. Now that I see such a powerful formation, I feel even more troublesome. 2 is born, 2 begets 3, 3 begets all things. The law is in heaven and earth. Follow your heart. In the way of heaven, if there is gain, there must be loss. If there is more loss, make up for the deficiency. All things are made by nature. The name of this formation is 10,000 Immortals Formation. The great formation is made in heaven, covering the sky and the earth, and deters the whole world. This formation requires the help of thousands of immortals at the same time to form it, because the spiritual power it consumes is too huge. Although the power of the formation is unusual, due to the conditions of its use it was too harsh, and Tongshan had never fully arranged it. But now, the 8 top saints in the prehistoric era are working at the same time, and the power of their formation far exceeds that of 10,000 immortals. All things are trembling under the formation. Panicked, the 6 invaders had never dealt with a magic circle, especially such a powerful magic circle. They thought it was just a heresy, and they all tried to destroy the 10,000 Immortals formation. But things went counterproductive. With the blessing of the saint, the 10,000 Immortals formation, this is extraordinary. He actually resisted all 6 saints from the 12th level of heaven. Boom. After several rounds of attacks, although the 10,000 Immortals formation consumed a lot of spiritual energy, it was still not damaged. Tongshan finally felt relieved. This method is really effective. Then, the 7 saints took the opportunity to activate the killing array in the 10,000 Immortals formation, and rolled up the huge power of law to bombard them. Royal, those saints formed seals to block and blocked the attacks. The 2 sides were fighting back and forth like this. Under the terrifying residual power, countless seas evaporated, and even countless trenches were exposed. The residual power was bombarded with holes. Not only the immeasurable sea, but also the 4 major continents could not escape from the residual power that broke out. They were all damaged to a great extent. I don't know how many creatures suffered. The scripture collector on the way to the west, the 4 disciples were also affected. When Tang Xuanzang was walking, a mountain range suddenly collapsed, and rolling rocks came like a torrent. Open. In desperation, Tang Xuanzang hurriedly used a burst of spiritual power to break through the rolling rubble, but before he could catch his breath, the earth suddenly opened and swallowed him. Master Zhu Beiji and Sha Seng were extremely horrified, but only Sun Wukong was not worried at all. Don't worry, with the monk's current methods, this little trouble won't hurt him. It would be a big joke if Tang Xuanzang, who had the blood of a true dragon, still died here. Sure enough, after a moment, Tang Xuanzang rose up and returned to the ground, unscathed. Wukong, this catastrophe unusually, it seems that the whole prehistoric period is in chaos. Tang Xuanzang frowned. I heard that it was the saints who invaded the ancient times. It's a pity that old Sun's ability is not good now, otherwise, Humphrey. Sun Wukong was angry, but there was nothing he could do. He knew the gap between himself and the saint. I am afraid that the saint may not be his opponent, and I can only rely on the ancestral dragon immortal for the rest of my life. Xuanzang of the Tang dynasty was full of worries. Even he knew that the prehistoric times would be more bad than good. The 8 saints were in unspeakable suffering. Seeing that the four major continents in the prehistoric era were severely damaged, they had nothing to do. Chapter 441, especially the saints of Buddhism and Taoism. Many of the dead creatures on the earth are their followers, the source of their luck. However, this is not the most troublesome thing. When the 6 intruders were initially caught off guard by the formation, in the subsequent battles, they gradually figured out the formation and relied on their crushing cultivation advantages to attack. Formation. Under the joint siege of 6 12th level saints, the 10,000 immortals array could no longer hold up and even suffered multiple ruptures. The 8 saints sitting at the center of the formation have almost exhausted their spiritual power. Maintaining the 10,000 immortals formation consumes extremely terrifying spiritual power on them. I thought there was something mysterious about this formation, but now it seems like nothing more than that. The fire-clothed King Luan bombarded the sky with fire feathers, creating a flaw in the 10,000 immortals formation that was almost exhausted of spiritual power. The attacks of others followed closely, splitting and expanding the broken station. 8 people. The saints did not expect that their offensive would be so fierce, and the 10,000 immortals formation would gradually be unable to support it, until finally they were forcibly bombarded by the water-dividing fish attracted by Gong Gong, and they were forced to use up all the remaining power of the formation. Start. In an instant, the 8 saints almost exhausted all their spiritual power and forcibly detonated the 10,000 immortals formation. The violent power swept across the world in an instant, swallowing everyone in it. What is even more terrifying is that the sea water in the boundless sea rolled up. The water column reaching the sky spread to the 4 major continents. When the mountains collapsed and the earth split, the 4 major steppes erupted into a disaster comparable to the ancient flood. Until the power completely subsided, the boundless seas receded, exposing at the bottom of the sea. The 4 major steppes were completely disrupted, and all life was in ruins. Those practitioners in the ancient wilderness had no time to protect themselves, so how could they think of protecting all living things? The sky-high water column turned into a torrential rain and dispersed, and 8 saints with depressed breaths appeared. At this time, they had run out of fuel, even because of the forceful detonation of the formation. Tongshan, Tathagata, and Randan were almost on the verge of losing their power and almost collapsed. But what really made them despair was that the 60 intruders were still not defeated by them. 6 of them activated the barrier protection at the same time, and no one was hurt at all. So far, the saints in this world have disappointed me. Zhurong sneered. It's time for the results. With a command, the 4 ancestral witches and the 2 Phoenix clan elders appeared in their true forms at the same time. Their huge bodies that covered the sky and the sun were frightening to see. I'll swallow one first. Hey! Zhujiuyan opened his mouth and spewed blood, and suddenly pounced down to swallow the weak Tongshan. Click! Suddenly, the space was shattered, and a powerful chaotic energy broke through the space and hit Zhujiuyan's huge head, instantly knocking it away. Before everyone could react to what happened, the broken space flew out a phoenix body dripping with blood and with broken wings. This phoenix body is none other than Jiushin Kun. At this time, he was trying to flutter his wings and escape as if fleeing for his life. This scene was beyond everyone's expectations. Come to death. From the broken space, a stream of yin and yang energy burst out and forcibly locked Jiushin Kun, making it impossible for him to escape. Phew! Jiushin Kun struggled painfully, but he couldn't break free from the shackles of yin and yang. I'm here to help you, brother. Huoi King Luan and Xuanshan Min quickly took action to break the shackles of the yin and yang. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 442. But at this moment, the 2 chi of yin and yang had torn Jiushin Kun's true body into pieces and took away his soul. Damn it! This scene shocked everyone, but Huoi King Luan and Xuanshan Min suddenly became furious. Nothing more. The space was shattered, and Kong Zhuan appeared. He was holding the Chaos Yin-Yang instrument in his hand. The soul of the 9 heavens Kun was trapped in the Yin-Yang instrument, and could not escape despite all the efforts. Fire-clad King Luan threatened sternly, "Zhao Kun's soul, I will spare your life, otherwise I will let you, suffering from thousands of years of soul refining." Ridiculous? Such threats are meaningless. Kong Zhuan put away Jiaoshan Kun's soul and said jokingly, "We will take action together to recapture Jiaoshan Kun's soul and kill him along the way." Everyone is aware of Kong Zhuan's threat. The chaos yin-yang instrument in his hand seems to be extremely powerful, so they have to be afraid. 1 against 6? Kong Zhuan felt a little hesitant. With 1 against 6, he had no chance of winning, but with Wu Liangshihai behind him, it would be extremely difficult to ensure the safety of Longting Hall if he retreated. Now that the teacher is making a breakthrough, what will happen to the Dragon Clan as soon as I leave? Kong Zhuan only hesitated for a moment before he made up his mind to use the Chaos Yin and Yang instrument to fight to the death. Just looking for death, the 6 invaders were dismissive. Just when they planned to defeat Kong Zhuan quickly, they suddenly discovered that the ancient world had changed suddenly. The clouds in the sky broke, the sun and the moon shined together, and the stars shone brightly, illuminating the ruined land. And in the highest sky, there was actually a ray of pure heavenly law that penetrated the boundless seas and resonated with it. This sudden change made everyone confused. The 6 intruders suspected something was wrong and immediately avoided the body. The color of the sky changes, the way of heaven appears, and those who are equal to the way of heaven appear. I looked at the laws of heaven descending from the sky and murmured to myself, completely shocked, "Ha ha 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 ha." Kong Zhuan couldn't help but laugh loudly, his voice full of arrogance. "You're going to die." Zhurong frowned and backed away. This strange phenomenon in the world made him vaguely think of something. The heavenly way in the world has always been superior to all things. The saints are squeezed by the heavenly way. The heavenly way and the heavenly way are integrated. Only by breaking through the heavenly way can one be on an equal footing with the heavenly way. Now this kind of strange phenomenon, the 6 saints suddenly realized that they suddenly remembered that when Taoist Yang Mai broke through the realm of heaven, it was also the same kind of strange phenomenon in heaven and earth. Go back. Those people were about to break into the space passage and escape, but in the next moment, the space above the boundless sea was isolated and sealed, and there was no way to escape. He was a guest at the door. He was so aggressive when he came. Why is he retreating like a lost dog now? "I haven't had time to entertain you properly yet." A voice that seemed to come from outside resounded throughout the world. No matter whether it was an ordinary creature or a saint, when they heard this voice, they felt a kind of surrender from the heart, and even couldn't help but kneel down. That came from the awe deep in their souls made them unable to obey. The 6 intruders were no exception. Daozu never told us that there are still people in the prehistoric world. Zhurong looked at the sky in horror, and he suddenly saw a domineering figure appearing. That is Shen Long, who has broken through the realm of heavenly Tao and stepped half a step into the realm of heavenly Tao. Even though Shen Long was doing nothing at this time and not even letting out a breath, he was still in awe. "Do you think you can come here whenever you want and leave whenever you want? The ancient world has been destroyed to this extent by you, and countless living beings have perished. I am afraid that this account must be settled carefully," Shen Long said lightly. With this, Kong Zhuan and the 8 saints were relieved. In front of a half-step strong man of heaven, the saints were as fragile as ants. "Immortal. We will leave now and we will never do it again, and we are following orders." So, Zhurong forcibly carried Shen Long's huge soul pressure and said with difficulty, "Yeah?" Shen Long glanced at him teasingly, "Don't worry, sooner or later I will find Yang Bian and he won't be able to escape." As soon as he finished speaking, before Zhurong could come back to his senses, a space law distorted the space around him, instantly shattering his true body and destroying his soul. In an instant, Zhurong's body and soul were destroyed. Escape. The 5 people were frightened and had no intention of resisting at all. They ran away at the same time, just for a chance of survival. Shen Long sneered as if he was looking at a fool. He was on the same level as Heavenly Tao. In today's prehistoric era is like being he was in control. Where could they escape to? Congeal. With a slight movement of mind, Zhu Jiuyan condensed in midair motionless as if frozen, and then his body was covered with cracks and shattered into powder like a piece of glass. The escaping Zhuan Ming dived into the boundless sea, holding a trace of hope in his heart. It was a fluke, but he didn't expect that the boundless sea water around him would form a chain that could trap even a saint, making him unable to move. Call out. Then, a wave of waves condensed into a flying arrow, instantly blasting his body to pieces. How could this be? Huoi King Luan and Xuan Shenmin were horrified to see the two of them die so miserably, and at the same time they took out a feather from Fengzu's body. This feather contains an extremely huge power of space, which can forcefully break the constraints of space and escape. This is also the last resort in their hands to save their lives. They originally wanted to use it to escape into chaos. But when the space power in the feathers was exhausted, they still couldn't see any rupture in the space. This is impossible. Both of them were shocked. The power of the laws of space and this is too thin. If you want to break through the Emperor's space restrictions, you must have the laws of heaven. Shen Long's voice suddenly sounded in their ears, and the fear of the two instantly rose to the extreme. I will let you take a good look at what the real laws of space are. As soon as the words fell, the space behind the two people suddenly shattered, and a huge black hole emerged, distorting the space, tearing their true bodies to pieces, swallowing the remains and souls together into the black hole and grinding them to pieces. The cultivation level of Half-Step Avenue is actually like this. The prehistoric saints were horrified to watch. They tried their best but failed to hurt the enemy at all. For Shen Long, it was easier than killing ants. Chapter 443. The only person in the prehistoric era who has broken through to the realm of heaven is Taoist Hong Jun, but he has rarely interfered with the affairs of the prehistoric world since the realm of heaven. No one in the prehistoric world has ever seen how powerful a half-step to the realm of heaven is. But now, in front of Shen Long, they have fully realized what it feels like to be inferior to an ant, to be as humble as dust. Fortunately, Shen Long is not their enemy now. Buzz. At this moment, Gong Gong, who wanted to break through the space blockade with a trace of luck, was trapped and locked because he touched the law of heaven, and could not escape. Immortal. Please spare me. Duck is willing to persuade Taoist Yang Mai not to invade Hong Wang. This can definitely save Hong Wang from the destruction of all living beings. The oak absolutely guarantees you, with no way to escape. Gong Gong was so desperate that he could only hold on to his last hope, hoping that Shen Long would let him go. If that Yang Mai Taoist is interested in prehistoric times, just come. I happen to want to talk to him about old times. Shen Long smiled faintly, and then Taoist Wu Xin, who he transformed into one of the three corpses, appeared and let the two of them take a look. Yang Mai Taoist. The moment Gong Gong came to Wu Xin Taoist, he was immediately horrified. No, he is not Taoist Yang Mai ... but he is indeed Wu Xin Liushu. Although Gong Gong can detect that the cultivation levels of Wu Xin Taoist and Yang Mai Taoist are far apart, the hollow and clear aura of the Wu Xin willow tree will never be fake. The unintentional willow tree was turned into one of the three corpses by you. Gong Gong was suddenly shocked. This emperor does intend to leave you alive to see Yang Mai, but how can you reassure me? Shen Long took Taoist Wu Xin back into his body and stared at the latter with a faint smile. This method is really heartbreaking. Immortal, I am willing to listen to your orders and go on a journey, no matter how you want to deal with me. Gong Gong gritted his teeth and practiced for countless years. Who can give up his next level of cultivation? Can. Unexpectedly, Shen Long agreed readily. Gong Gong was overjoyed and was about to speak, but Shen Long suddenly forced Gong Gong's spirit out of his body and took out a red life soul from his spirit. The saints gasped when they saw it. The soul of life was the foundation of the soul. If the saints had not voluntarily donated it, it would be difficult to remove it from the body, but Shen Long actually did it so lightly. The soul of Gong Gong struggled feebly and screamed in pain, but it was of no avail. Afterwards, Shen Long put his soul back into his body, but Gong Gong sadly discovered that his cultivation level instantly fell from a 12th level saint to a quasi-sage in the 5th level. It was like falling from heaven to hell in an instant, and countless years of cultivation were destroyed in one fell swoop. What made him want to cry even more was that his life and soul had been controlled by Shen Long, and his life and death depended on his thoughts. Go away. Go back and tell Taoist Yang Mai that there is no need for him to come to Hong Wang in person. Sooner or later, I will visit him and have a good chat with him. How could Gong Gong dare to refute even a single sentence? He hurriedly got into the cracks in space and escaped like a lost dog. Teacher, wouldn't it be too easy for him to let him go like this? Kong Zhuan felt aggrieved. The emperor only needs him to bring a message. When the message is delivered, there is no need for him to continue living. Shen Long showed the blood-red life soul in his hand and smiled lightly. From the beginning, he did not intend to let Gong Gong live for too long. Chapter 444. Thank you to fellow Taoist Zhu Long for helping me, otherwise we would be in great trouble today. Fortunately, our Taoist friends got out of the customs in time. We really can't resist for too long. The saints were both ashamed and afraid of Shen Long. Shen Long could easily take out the Gong Gong Ming Hun, so he could easily take out theirs too. Everyone, please leave. After this battle, I don't know how long it will take for Han Wang to recover. Shen Long frowned slightly, and the immeasurable world was also affected, and many tribesmen lost their lives. After saying this, Shen Long Linkong nodded, and a few rays of energy were injected into the bodies of the saints. They suddenly found that the spiritual power in their bodies was full again. Especially it was Tongshan who was about to lose his power, and the injuries in his body were healed instantly. Thank you Taoist Zhu Long. The saints were determined in their hearts. With Shen Long sitting in charge of the wilderness, they don't have to worry. Then, they left one after another. Now that the 4 major continents have been greatly damaged, they naturally have to restore the foundation of the sect. After a while, Shen Long calmed down the turbulent waves in the boundless sea, and the receding tide also flowed back again, covering the exposed seabed. This move not only calmed the out-of-control infinite seas and allowed the dragon clan to settle down, but also prevented the creatures in the 4 major continents from being affected by the infinite seas again under the threat of flooding. Shen Long ordered Wu Kaizi to go to the 4 major continents in person to quell the raging floods to prevent further destruction of the ancient world. But at this moment, heaven suddenly sent down a huge amount of merit to Shen Long. This was the merit reward he received for saving the creatures in the wild. The merit beyond the calamity was indeed beyond Shen Long's expectation, but naturally he didn't think it was too much, so he simply collected it all. Teacher, this is the spirit of the intruder Jiushan Kun, and I leave it to you to deal with it. Kong Zhuan presented it respectfully, but the weak Yuan Shen was still trembling in the chaotic yin and yang ritual. You are both from the Phoenix clan, so refining and absorbing his soul will be very helpful for you to refine your soul. Although your cultivation has reached a bottleneck at the moment, there is still plenty of room for spiritual breakthroughs, which will greatly improve your Taoism. Shen Long has the spirit-swallowing blood jade in his hand and has mastered most of the 3,000 chaos demon gods. Naturally, he looks down on the 9 heavens. Thank you teacher. Kong Zhuan was overjoyed and thanked him quickly. Now, Shen Long's cultivation level has reached the half-step avenue, which is on par with the way of heaven. At this time, he does not need the astrolabe of the ancient world. He can know the entire ancient world with just one thought. Although the scripture retrieving team has twists and turns, but fortunately they were not injured by the intruders, while Xuanmen and Buddhism were severely damaged in this catastrophe. Especially Buddhism, even the foundation mountain collapsed. I am afraid that Buddhism will not be able to recover in less than 100 years. In a short period of time, the 2 major sects may not have the energy to interfere with the great cause of learning scriptures. Shen Long thought to himself, after all, the basic structure of the sect is the most important. Thinking of the team of Buddhist scriptures, Shen Long's belief moved and he disappeared in an instant. At the same moment, the 4 masters and apprentices who had already entered Xinyu Hezu looked at the rolling waves in front of them and lamented. This catastrophe abruptly tore Xinyu Hezu in half and was isolated by the West Sea. The road to Lingshan not only became longer, but even more bumpy. Why don't we just fly directly to Lingshan? What are we doing in this world for nothing? Chapter 445. Sun Wukong sat on a big rock very annoyed. Old Sun can't understand why he is asking for trouble. Wukong, this is not asking for trouble. The journey to the west cannot reach the sky in one step, even if we want to take a shortcut. I am afraid the Immortal will not agree. Tang Xuanzang shook his head slowly, but when Sun Wukong heard the word Shanxian, he suddenly became more honest. He naturally knew who Tang Xuanzang was talking about. Master, what exactly is the Immortal you are talking about? Zhu Beiji was full of curiosity, but he suddenly fell asleep just halfway through his question. Gudong, not only Zhu Beiji, but also Sha Seng, who was carrying luggage next to him, fell asleep at the same time. Tang Xuanzang said it right, Sun Wukong. Suddenly, Shen Long appeared in front of the two of them and said with a faint smile, I've seen the Immortal. The two hurriedly visited Shen Long. I was thinking just now, how could this Zhu Beiji be so lazy and suddenly be able to fall asleep? It turns out it was a trick of yours, teacher. He. Sun Wukong scratched his head and smiled. Shen Long nodded slightly. These two are obsessed with achieving fruition, and there are some words that I can't let them hear. Teacher, do I know that you personally drove back the 6 saints who invaded the ancient world and killed them one by one? It is really majestic. I wonder when Lao Sun will have the same means as you. Sun Wukong's eyes rolled around, seemingly flattering him, but in fact he was hinting whether Shen Long could give him some guidance on his skills. If one's own cultivation is not enough, no matter how brilliant the Taoism is, it cannot be used perfectly. If one has sufficient cultivation, he can destroy the world with just one move, so why would he need others to grant him the Taoism? As everyone knows, all magical powers are based on the foundation of cultivation. You must understand this before you can practice with peace of mind. Shen Long knew that Sun Wukong was very competitive, but he ignored the basics and regarded Taoism as more important than cultivation. For Shen Long today, he does not need the assistance of Taoism. He can kill the saint with just his magical power. As easy as an ant. Well, we still need to practice well. Sun Wukong scratched his head and sighed helplessly. In terms of meditation practice, he is far worse than Tang Xuanzang, who was tortured by reincarnation for 10 lives. Shanxian, Xinyu Hezu is now isolated and blocked by the West Sea. I don't know how long it will take to travel westward. Tang Xuanzang was very melancholy. It has been more than 10 years since we started this journey, but we have not yet reached the end of our journey westward. The more he walked, the more disappointed he became with Buddhism and Xuanmen, so he begged to join the Dragon Clan. Xuanzang, the purpose of walking westward is not to reach the destination. Do you just want to seek a fruition status like Zhu Beiji and Sha Seng? Shen Long looked at the latter with a half-smile. What's more, what you have gained along the way has far exceeded everything Buddhism has given you. The words made Xuanzang fall into deep thought. After a long time, Tang Xuanzang relaxed his eyes and realized something. That's it. Thank you for your guidance, Tang Xuanzang said with gratitude. Just take care of yourself. Shen Long stepped through the void and left, and Zhu Beiji and Sha Seng also ended their drowsiness and woke up. Huh? Why did the old pig suddenly fall asleep? Obviously I wasn't sleepy at all just now. Zhu Beiji patted his groggy head and said to himself. Lao Sha felt even more strange. It's strange. I, Lao Sha, am not a person who takes naps easily. Chapter 446. I'll think of a way to cross the river to the west as soon as possible. Tang Xuanzang and Sun Wukong ignored them and tried to find a way to continue their journey westward. As Shen Long said, what they gained during this journey westward may have exceeded what they gained at the end. Gong Gong, who was lucky enough to survive from Shen Long's men, fled in a hurry, but when he returned the same way, he suddenly encountered Wu Tian's obstruction. Wu Shen had suffered from Zhurong before. How could he let Gong Gong leave so easily? Naturally, he wanted to take advantage of his weakness to take revenge. Gong Gong was miserable. Now he only had the cultivation level of a quasi-sage. How could he be Wu Shen's opponent? He could only pay a heavy price and use the magic weapon left to him by Taoist Yang Mai before he could barely escape. Good luck to you. You will be spared death by Zhu Long. Wu Shen stared coldly at the empty space passage. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly had a thought in his mind. He smashed several Death Stars around him and used the star core energy in them to cover the space passage so that it could not be aware. It's best to hide this method from Zulong, so I've been moving around a lot. Chance. After hiding the space passage with this idea, Wushan left quietly. After Gong Gong escaped back to the parallel world, he did not even dare to return to the Wu clan first. Instead, he went straight to the Kongming Palace in the sky to inform Taoist Yang Mai of their failure. Half step to heaven? This is impossible. I have sensed the aura of heavenly Tao in the ancient times, and there is absolutely no way that there is another half step to heavenly Tao. Yang Mai appeared, frowning. But your life soul was taken away, your cultivation level dropped to this level, and you also lost the status of saint. It seems that what you said is true. Tao Ancestor, that is the ancestral dragon of the prehistoric world. He suddenly broke through to the half-step realm of heaven and easily killed us, so you didn't notice it before. Gong Gong recalled the pain of having his life and soul forcibly taken away, and he was extremely frightened. He never thought in his wildest dreams that a group of them would go all the way to the wilderness, only to die in vain. I see. This is not your fault. I didn't expect this. But that ancestral dragon doesn't look like an ordinary practitioner. Taoist Yang Mai slowly closed his eyes, and after a moment, he smiled coldly. At this moment, Dezhong hurried over from outside Kongming Hall and asked to enter the hall. When he got the approval to enter the hall, he almost ran away in anger when he saw Gong Gong, whose cultivation was almost ruined. In this battle, the witch clan actually lost 3 ancestral witches, and the one who survived became a mere quasi-sage. The Wu clan's combat power was instantly reduced by 1/3. How will they fight with the Phoenix clan in the future? Tao Ancestor, the strength of our Wu clan has been greatly weakened. Please prevent the Feng clan from taking the opportunity to add insult to injury. After all, we and the Wu clan are also serving you. Dezhong forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart and begged Yang Mai. Rest assured, Yang Mai said slowly. This battle is not your fault. That's it for now, you can leave. Thank you Daozu for your forgiveness. Dezhong and Gong Gong finally felt relieved, and when they were about to stand up and leave, Gong Gong's body suddenly swelled up like a full balloon. The pain of the real body expanding and being torn apart was unbearable for Gong Gong. Even if he tried to control his body with his spiritual power, he couldn't do it. Damn it. Dezhong was very anxious, but he didn't know what happened. He just wanted to forcibly control the expansion of Gong Gong's body. Chapter 447. But Dezhong discovered that the power of his soul was burning rapidly. It's useless, his life soul has been detonated and he will definitely die. Yang Mai shook his head slowly, and then an invisible energy barrier contained him, and Gong Gong's swollen body was shattered in the next moment. Both body and soul were destroyed. Dezhong was heartbroken and angry, and the Wu clan lost another member, an ancestral witch. Yang Mai's eyes were full of coldness, although he didn't care about Gong Gong's life or death. Shen Long dared to kill his subordinate so casually, which already made him angry. Beating a dog was also it depends on the master. Shen Long's original intention was not to kill Gong Gong at all, but to use it to demonstrate to himself. What an ancestral dragon! I would like to see how he comes to me to reminisce about old times. After I expand the space channel, I will conquer the wilderness myself. Dezhong unexpectedly noticed that Yang Mai Taoist had rare emotional fluctuations and was so angry. Tao Ancestor, your subordinates will retreat now. Now the Wu clan has. Dezhong was about to leave, but the next moment Taoist Yang Mai seemed to have noticed something, and instantly turned into a flowing shadow and flew out of the Kongming Hall. Dezhong didn't recover from the shock at all. He didn't know why Yang Mai was in such a hurry. Dezhong, tell your clan if they don't want to perish, they should stay in the clan to avoid being affected. The departing Taoist Yang Mai only left these words. At the same moment, in the sky of this parallel world, the stars were aligned, and Taoist Hongjun stood on a star, overlooking this huge world. The way of heaven in this world is indeed the same as that in ancient times. Unfortunately, I am not conquerable enough. Daozu Hongjun felt the apparition of heaven's way and felt quite regretful. If the level of this world was lower, he would be absolutely sure to control the way of heaven. It's a pity that he can't do it now. Dao Zuhongjun's heart suddenly moved. The next moment, his figure disappeared instantly and escaped, and the star he was standing on just now turned into emptiness, disappeared and evaporated. Avenue. Fourth Heaven. I would like to know, have you destroyed the hollow willow tree in the prehistoric world? Taoist Yang Mai appeared and looked at Taoist Hongjun not far away with a faint smile. He came here in such a hurry just now because he noticed the existence of Taoist Hongjun. Now Taoist Hongjun did not hide his aura. Taoist Yang Mai, who is also in the Dao realm, can certainly easily detect the body of the hollow willow tree. Taozu Hongjun sighed. If I had known that the hollow willow tree was so powerful, I would have conquered it myself. The Hongjun Taoist ancestors entered this world in one step, and naturally they also knew the development context of this world. Didn't you do it? Then you must also know the whereabouts of my body. Taoist Yang Mai was confused. He believed that only Taoist Hongjun could kill his body in the ancient world, but he did not expect that there was someone else. Although Gong Gong, who had escaped, knew about it, he did not dare to tell the truth for fear of angering him. Yang Mai, however, before he had time to think about it, his life soul was detonated and he died. When you can defeat me, ask again, and I will tell you naturally. I would like to learn what you can do today. Taoist Hongjun retreated quickly, opened the divine axe in his hand, and slashed head-on, attacking Taoist Yang Mai with the power to destroy all things. Click. Chapter 448. Where the Kashin god's axe cut, the space fragilely burst open, and even the earth was split open by a huge crack under the pressure of the wind. The Kashin divine axe fell heavily, but when it hit Taoist Yang Mai's head, its power was quickly absorbed into his body. Taoist Yang Mai is a hollow willow tree. Any magic weapon or energy will be absorbed into the body, unable to resonate, let alone destroyed. Break. Taozu Hongjun seemed to have noticed a long time ago that the top of the universe fell from the sky, using the yin and yang of heaven and earth to suppress its ability to absorb all things. Useless. Taoist Yang Mai sneered, and his body shape suddenly changed into a huge hollow willow tree. Every branch and leaf of this hollow willow tree seemed to move in unison with the stars, extracting endless star energy for its use. When he turned into a hollow willow tree, when he saw the willow tree's body, Daozu Hongjun was horrified to find that no matter how powerful he bombarded it with spiritual treasures, he could not shake it at all. He could only provide it with energy and vein for it to absorb. Daozu Hongjun's cultivation level was originally higher than Taoist Yang Mai's, one level lower than Taoist Yang Mai, and now he is not in the prehistoric world. He is unable to obtain energy sources from the way of heaven. Not only is his offensive power greatly weakened, but even the spiritual power consumed cannot be compensated. Even though the spiritual power of the Tao is as vast as the sea, there is a time when the oil is exhausted and the lamp is dry. Not to mention that he was facing Taoist Yang Mai, whose cultivation level was one level higher than his own. During the first calamity of Longnan, Hongjun in this world was no match for me and was easily defeated by me. The same goes for you now. The hollow willow tree shook, and the huge branches stretched out and stabbed, forcing Daozu Hongjun to retreat step by step, and the leaves flying down from the willow tree contained extremely terrifying power. Every fallen leaf passed by, Daozu Hongjun's spiritual power was consumed. Those thousands of fallen leaves were like a violent storm. Although Daozu Hongjun could still resist it, Yang Mai could easily kill him when his oil ran out and the lamp dried up. Yang Mai could easily kill him. He covets Daozu Hongjun's Yuan Shen. He is also a Taoist. If he can obtain the complete Yuan Shen refining, his cultivation level will be greatly improved, and he may even achieve a breakthrough. As long as I kill you, I will be able to invade and occupy the wilderness. Taoist Yang Mai was ecstatic in his heart. If you want to hate it, then hate yourself for intruding so recklessly. Taoist Hongjun managed to parry, secretly complaining in his heart. If he had fought with Taoist Yang Mai in the ancient times, he would never have been in such an awkward situation. At the same time, in the Zixiao Palace in the prehistoric world, the boy begged Shen Long to help him rescue Daozu Hongjun. At this time, Shen Long and Tong Tsai watched the space passage in Zixiao Palace gradually shrink and even disappear. Ancestral Dragon Immortal, what should we do? If we disappear completely, Daozu will really not be able to come back. The boy was very anxious, but there was nothing he could do. There is no need to wait for it to disappear completely. It is no longer possible for Hong Jun to return the same way. Shen Long's words completely dispelled the boy's last lucky fantasy, but this does not mean that Shen Long has nothing to do. Ancestral Dragon Immortal, is there anything you can do? The boy asked Shen Long with the last glimmer of hope. He could only do this at this time. Shen Long did not answer, but slowly closed his eyes and immersed his mind in the world of the system. For Shen Long, the method of traveling through space in the heavens and worlds is much better than that of Taoist Yang Mai. After thousands of worlds quickly leapt across, Shen Long's sea of consciousness descended into the parallel world. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 449. At this time, Taoist Yang Mai and Taoist Hong Jun were fighting fiercely, but Taoist Hong Jun was restrained at every turn and was always suppressed by Taoist Yang Mai. Although Daozu Hong Jun can still resist, he has lost the blessing and help of heaven. Every time he is weakened, he is really weaker. In the long run, he will definitely be dragged down by Yang Mai. Found it. Shen Long smiled faintly. The situation of Taoist Hong Jun seems to be a bit bad. How? The boy's heart tightened when he heard this. With Dao Ancestor's cultivation, is there anyone in the parallel world who can threaten him? It would be impossible for an ordinary person. But if Taoist Yang Mai takes action personally, Hong Jun will naturally be defeated. I'll go take a look for myself. Now Hong Jun seems to be in great need of help. The children also go together. When Shen Long was about to leave, the boy said anxiously, you can just stay in Zixiao Palace. Even if you go, it will only be a hindrance. Shen Long didn't take it seriously, and instantly traveled through all the worlds. The boy was slightly startled, but there was nothing he could do. When Shen Long arrived in the parallel world, Daozu Hong Jun had already been suppressed and retreated steadily, making it difficult to deal with it. None of his Taoist techniques or spiritual treasures could harm Yang Mai in the slightest. There was almost no suspense in this battle. Hong Jun, as the founder of Keishan Dao, you are in such a mess now. I wonder what your disciples and grandsons will think when they see you. Shen Long's true body easily descended into the parallel world and responded to Daozu Hong Jun's joking message. Zhu Long, you actually came. Daozu Hong Jun, who had been suppressed and retreated steadily, had a gloomy face at first, but after hearing Shen Long's message, he suddenly became energetic. After being trapped in the parallel world, he tried his best to return to the prehistoric world. Even to Shen Long, Long didn't have much hope, but the result was so unexpected. Shen Long actually came here in person. Taoist Yang Mai suddenly discovered that something was strange in the way of heaven in the parallel world, and powerful men from other worlds were consuming the spiritual power of the world. However, the next moment, on the battlefield of stars in the sky, Shen Long appeared, half-stepped to heaven. Yang Mai's expression was confused, and then he suddenly realized, you are the ancestral dragon of the ancient world. All the saints he sent to invade the ancient world were killed by strong men who were half-steps in the way of heaven. Now that Shen Long appeared, it was clear at a glance. That's great. Catching them all in one go will save me from wasting my energy. Taoist Yang Mai sneered, and murderous intent burst out from his body, shooting straight into the stars. Taoist Yang Mai was not boasting. Taoist Shen Long and Hong Jun escaped from the wilderness, and were like rootless duckweeds in this world. Not only were they unable to obtain spiritual power, in addition, even the cultivation of Taoism has been greatly weakened. He can handle it with his own strength. Daozu is murderous. At this moment, countless creatures in the parallel world were frightened. The strong men of the Phoenix clan and the Wu clan ordered their clansmen to avoid being accidentally injured. The last time Hong Jun Daozu went all out to fight the enemy was the Long Han Chuji, when he was in charge of the world. Not good. Taoist Hong Jun was filled with bitterness. He didn't expect that Taoist Yang Mai just didn't try his best. From this point of view, he was determined to kill the two of them here. Yang Mai, how about I have a bet with you? Shen Long put his hands behind his back and smiled calmly, completely ignoring the terror of the saint in the Dao realm. Yang Mai laughed loudly as if she had heard some big joke. Chapter 450. Ridiculous? I can kill you right now with the flip of my hand. What are you betting on? Do you want me to spare your life? The smile on Shen Long's face got even bigger. Today, you can't hurt me at all. As soon as these words came out, Taoist Yang Mai was furious. You don't think that you are in this world and it is the same as before. I will let you understand it. One of Taoist Yang Mai's arms turned into a hollow willow tree, penetrated the space, and took Shen Long's head. Wherever the branch passed, almost all the spiritual power was swallowed up and absorbed, leaving nothing behind. Not good. Daozu Hong Jun was shocked, but for Shen Long, this method was extremely ordinary. The unintentional willow tree can swallow almost everything, and all living beings find it a way to restrain themselves. As everyone knows, the unintentional willow tree is still within the Tao and is restrained by the 5 elements. Shen Long narrowed his eyes slightly. The next moment, the 5 elements treasure phase wheel was summoned by him and slowly rotated behind him. What's this? When Taoist Yang Mai saw the huge 5 elements roulette, he was heartbroken. A hint of something bad suddenly arose, and the willow branches that penetrated the thorns instantly swelled, and more branches at the branches shrouded Shen Long, leaving him with no way to escape. The Tao of the 5 elements, the foundation of all things, cannot be transcended, and all living beings are subject to it. The laws of heaven and earth are born out of the 5 elements, and all things cannot escape. Fire. In an instant, the spreading wuxin willow tree suddenly burst into flames. Impossible. Taoist Yang Mai's pupils suddenly shrank, and he was extremely shocked. Although the hollow willow tree of the main body has the 5 elements of wood, because of its hollowness, it absorbs the essence of all things. Even the mysterious sky fire burning on the stars in the highest sky will be instantly burned when it burns. Absorb all the power and disappear. The only one that can burn the heartless willow tree, the only one that can derive, the only true fire that can surpass all things, the fire of the 5 elements. Shen Long roared angrily, and the flame mark of the 5 elements treasure will shine fiercely, causing the wuxin willow tree to burn even more violently, instantly burning it into ashes. Damn it! When Taoist Yang Mai noticed that the branches were burned into ashes and part of his body was burned into nothingness, he truly realized how powerful Shen Long was. It turns out to be the origin of the 5 elements. Taoist Hong Jun looked at the huge invisible treasure wheel behind Shen Long in disbelief. He was as horrified as Taoist Yang Mai. Even if they reach the realm of the Great Tao, they still cannot do this. Yang Mai, how does it feel when your body is burned? Shen Long opened his palms, and a wisp of heart-stopping flames burned, which actually made Taoist Yang Mai fearful. He has never been like this since the first calamity of Long Han. Today, you must die here. Taoist Yang Mai's body suddenly changed and instantly turned into a huge unintentional willow tree. But this time, the unintentional willow tree he transformed into was dozens of times larger than the one he had transformed into before when he fought with Taoist Hong Jun. Boom! I saw the branches and leaves of the wuxin willow tree trembling, and the thousands of stars in the sky trembling, and they were forced by Taoist wuxin to fall towards Shen Long. Wood is born without form. Shen Long's eyes suddenly turned into light blue, and countless spears of destiny also appeared on the top of his head. These spears of destiny were filled with woody source spiritual power, and they met the falling stars and turned into dust together with them. The stars are earth and are restrained by wood. These falling stars cannot touch Shen Long in the slightest. Chapter 451. Taoist Yang Mai was shocked. Shen Long's cultivation level was obviously much weaker than his, but he was still unable to hurt him at all. What puzzled him even more was that Shen Long's spiritual power seemed to be inexhaustible and seemed not to be restricted by the law of heaven at all. Shen Long is different from others, although he is separated from the ancient world at this time and cannot be supplied by heaven's spiritual power. He can still draw spiritual power from the worlds he has conquered in the world for his own use. In this way, Shen Long can ignore the restrictions of heaven and still go all out in the parallel world. Taoist Yang Mai is worthy of being the most powerful Taoist. When he found that he could not defeat Shen Long, he began to turn his attention to Taoist Hong Jun, annihilation. The unintentional willow tree's spiritual energy that absorbs all things inspired its branches and leaves to fly over and bombard Taoist Hong Jun, with the intention of killing Taoist Hong Jun first. Taoist Hong Jun was unable to extract the spiritual power of the world like Shen Long, and without the blessing of heaven, it would be difficult for him to support him. Fellow Taoist Zhu Long, please give me a helping hand. Taozu Hong Jun had no choice but to ask Shen Long for help. It seems that there will be no result in today's fight. Shen Long narrowed his eyes slightly. Naturally, he could have been entangled with Taoist Yang Mai endlessly, but Taoist Hong Jun became his drag at this time. Hong Jun, go quickly. Shen Long opened the space passage leading to the prehistoric era, absorbed him into it instantly, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The passage of all heavens and worlds. Taoist Yang Mai was shocked when he saw this. Shen Long could actually open it so easily. The Emperor will come again to take care of you, so there is no need to rush. Shen Long sneered, and the next moment the space channel behind him opened up, swallowing him up. In the blink of an eye, Taoist Yang Mai was the only one left on the vast sky battlefield. Since the early calamity of Long Han, this is the first time someone has been able to escape from Dragon Ancestor. The creatures watching the battle could hardly believe it. Taoist Yang Mai's face was gloomy. He calmed down and swept across the entire world, but the oars of Taoist Shen Long and Hong Jun had long since disappeared and were nowhere to be found. There is no doubt that they have left the parallel world. How could this ancestral dragon, who was only half a step into the Great Avenue, easily open the passages to all heavens and worlds? Taoist Yang Mai was puzzled, but this also made him covet the prehistoric way of heaven more and more. Compared to his parallel world, there might be something beyond his expectation in this prehistoric world. Come out to me. Taoist Yang Mai gave the order and immediately called on the elders of the Feng clan and the ancestral witches of the Wu clan to appear in the sky and pay homage to Yang Mai fearfully. Daozu, you continue to exert your efforts and do not allow the space passage to be blocked. I will wait for a while and then go to Hong Wang in person. When the time comes, you will go with me. Everyone was overjoyed when they heard what Taoist Yang Mai said. With Taoist Yang Mai personally in charge, they don't have to worry about being killed by Shen Long. Although they had just fought, Taoist Yang Mai failed to defeat Shen Long as he wished, and even they didn't hurt a single hair on his head. But they still didn't question Taoist Yang Mai's power. Although it would take a lot of manpower and energy from the two tribes to continue to maintain the space channel, if they could win the Great Desolate World, all this effort would definitely be worth it. At the same moment, Zixiao Palace. The boy was restless, and Sanqing had also arrived after hearing the news. Waiting uneasily, Hong Jun Daozu was very important to them, especially Sanqing, which was related to the foundation of Xuanmen. Chapter 452. Suddenly, the space above Zixiao Palace cracked and shattered, and the passages to the heavens and worlds appeared. Be careful. Although the boy's cultivation level was slightly higher than Sanqing's, he seemed more frightened than Sanqing. He raised his soul sword and prepared for a battle. But right after, Daozu Hong Jun came from the space channel, appearing in the middle. The boy and Sanqing were immediately overjoyed. Meet Tao Ancestor. The four of them came forward to pay their respects at the same time, but Taoist Hong Jun gave a wry smile and said, "It doesn't have to be like this. I have really lost all my face this time. If it weren't for the help of Taoist Zhu Long, it's still unclear whether I could come back." Before Sanqing could understand what Taoist Hong Jun meant by these words, Shen Long also appeared through the space passage. I really underestimated Taoist Yang Mai. Shen Long frowned slightly. Although he was able to draw with Taoist Yang Mai, who was only half a step into the Tao realm, he was still not satisfied. If given the chance, Shen Long's original intention was to defeat him or even destroy his true body fellow Taoist Zhu Long. Thank you. Teozu Hongjun took a deep breath, stepped forward and thanked Shen Long. Shen Long smiled lightly, as if he didn't take this matter to heart at all. Hongjun, you owe me a favor in the future, don't forget it. It's not just a favor. It's a life-saving grace. Teozu Hongjun let out a long sigh, and these words immediately shocked Sanqing and Tongcai. With Teozu Hongjun being so aloof and calm, he could actually say these words, which shows how much Shen Long helped him. Teozu, what happened? The boy stepped forward and asked anxiously. It's very embarrassing to say. Teozu Hongjun did not conceal his failure and told everyone the ins and outs of what happened in the parallel world. Fellow Taoist Zhu Long could actually draw with Taoist Yang Mai. Everyone was immediately astonished and could hardly believe that this was true. If it hadn't come from Taoist Hongjun, it would be hard for them to imagine that an enemy that even Taoist Hongjun couldn't parry could be dealt with by Shen Long. The Great Tao is not as scary as you think. In response to everyone's shock, Shen Long was not proud at all, and just said lightly. Taoist Hongjun smiled bitterly. Only Shen Long is qualified to say this. In this case, Taoist Yang Mai should still be evil-minded. I suddenly felt uneasy. They had seen with their own eyes how powerful Taoist Hongjun was, but there was actually someone more powerful than Taoist Hongjun in that parallel world. This battle is inevitable and I should have expected it. Teozu Hongjun sighed. Moreover, the two clan leaders of the Phoenix clan and the Wu clan in the parallel world are both powerful in the heavenly Tao realm. In terms of strength, the current prehistoric people cannot compare with them. Everyone was surprised when they heard this, but then they turned around. Come on, God, there was a strong man like Patriarch Hun in the ancient times, but it's a pity that he sought his own way to die. The progress of Sanqing's cultivation is too slow. Shen Long shook his head slowly. You must know that even Kong Zhuan has now reached the peak of the 12 heavens, and is only a chance to break through to the heavenly Tao realm. This cultivation breakthrough did not happen overnight. We are also trying our best. Tongshan's face turned red and he said without confidence, fellow Taoist Zhu Long, the space passage they left in the ancient world should still be there. How about we take the lead in destroying it to prevent them from entering the ancient world? Teozu Hongjun suggested to Shen Long. Chapter 453. If Taoist Yang Mai is not killed, no matter how many space channels are destroyed, they will still be able to open them. This is meaningless in itself. It only treats the symptoms but not the root cause. Now that the great disaster is approaching, retreating and forbearing will not have the slightest effect, but it will only encourage their arrogance. The best strategy is to use offense as defense. Shen Long didn't take it seriously. He still wants to enter the parallel world and capture it. Naturally, he looks down on their ostrich-like behavior of avoiding the enemy. Fellow Taoist Hongjun, this time you wandered into all the worlds. Fortunately, there were traces to follow, so I rescued you. Next time you get lost, you may not be so lucky. Farewell. After leaving these warnings, Shen Long left and returned to the primitive world. Shen Long could treat all the heavens and worlds as his back garden, and he could come and go as he pleased. But for most practitioners, all heavens the world is almost more terrifying than the chaos and nothingness. Not to mention being unable to return to this world. Once you're involved in the higher world and become like an ant, it will be difficult to save your life. All heavens and worlds. Teozu Hongjun's expression was a little unnatural. The moment he stepped into the heavens and worlds, he naturally noticed the vastness of it, and he never forgot about it, and even wanted to step into it again. Just like a fish that has seen the ocean, how can it be willing to live in a well? Sanqing looked at each other. The three brothers had a clear understanding of each other. Although Shen Long didn't take Teozu Hongjun's words seriously just now, they had an idea. Ancient times. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 years have passed, and the signs of destruction have still not been fully restored. In particular, Xinyu, which was divided by the West Sea, has been completely separated and can no longer be integrated into one. I don't know whether it was unintentional, but because the part of Xinyu was separated from the control of Buddhism, and Tang Xuanzang's ideas of questioning gods and Buddhas were rampant. Buddhism in this land gradually collapsed and dissipated because Wu Qi took action to curb the flood, and Shen Long single-handedly saved the wilderness. The creatures in this land began to respect the Dragon Clan and turned to believe in the Dragon Clan. As a result, Xuanmin and Buddhism had no chance to interfere with this land, and this separated continent became the only land in the ancient world that was not touched by the two major sects. Not in this land, the number of followers of Taoism and Buddhism is gradually decreasing. On the contrary, more creatures believe in and worship the Dragon Clan. When the catastrophe comes, these two major sects will not be able to save the world, and their faith will naturally be greatly reduced. In this way, after being severely weakened, the two major sects unanimously stopped fighting, and the world was peaceful for more than 10 years. In the past 10 years, Shen Long has received more and more blessings from his luck. With this luck, the Dragon Clan has gradually grown stronger, and his people's cultivation has become stronger and stronger. To Shen Long's expectation, after he consolidated the realm of half-step Dao, his cultivation level advanced to 2 heavens in a row and set foot on the 7th heaven. Even Shen Long didn't expect this, but if he continues to advance like this, he will soon reach the realm of the Great Road. What surprised him even more was that now he could create creatures in the 12th heaven realm and the creation space with just one click. In today's prehistoric times, except for Taoist ancestor Shen Long and Hong Jun, the 12th level of saints is almost the ceiling. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.